everyone. How are you doing?
Hey.
Oh, we can better than that. How are you doing? Alright, cool, nice. So, my name is Athena Aperta. I am a musician, I'm a freelancer, and I recently went freelance this year, actually. So I do a mixture of things. I've got ADHD, so I've never been able to keep a job for that long, and I decided to use that for my strengths. So this is my first ever talk, and you know, all the emotions are there, right? So I'm excited, I'm nervous, all that kind of stuff. I've planned it, don't fully remember it, so I'm gonna use my phone as notes. Now, with the talk, you know, I'm grateful to be here to connect with you guys, and I'm, you know, grateful that you took time out of your lives, out of your busy lives, to be here at this event, which is amazing, and also to these guys for letting me speak and give a talk. But I could sit with that information, and I could think, oh my God, there's so much pressure. I have to be perfect. I have to. This is the first ever talk. If I mess this up, I can't give any other talks ever again. Now, that's not something that I want to sit with. You know, I could say that, you know, because your time is so precious, this is like extra pressure to put on my shoulders now. You know, I could say, oh, I'm in front of people, there's nowhere to hide, there's not even a fire escape to, you know, to get out of. I could jump out the window maybe, but I'm here now, I've got eyes on me, here we go. Now, you know, I failed as a public speaker before I've even begun. You know, I could even think that. Right? All these things could go around in my head. I could say, am I really an expert in the field of being a freelancer after being freelance since March? Who am I to give advice as a freelancer? You know, my experience, is it worth to share it, you know, with strangers, with friends, with, you know, loved ones? If I don't have all the knowledge, then am I even worth giving knowledge in the first place? If I don't know all the answers, is it worth even trying in the first place? Have I failed as a writer, as a creative? Have I lied to people? Imposter syndrome, insert here. Am I even worthy of being listened to? So, what I want you to do is, I want you to scan this QR code. Now, the perspective that I just said about the experience of giving my first ever talk, now it should come up with a site. I want you to click on poll. So what I would like you to do is input how hearing those words made you feel. You know, the words of me saying, am I good enough to give this talk after only being freelance for 3 months? Am I an expert in my field? If I don't have all of the knowledge, who the bloody hell am I to stand here and give you a talk? So, a few of the ones, empathetic, inspired, relatable, seems to be quite popular. I think the more a word is repeated, the bigger it is. So what I want you to do, I want you to turn to the person next to you, introduce yourselves if you haven't already, and talk about it. Talk about how you can, how you connected to this, whether you found it relatable. You know, talk about your journey as a freelancer. Have you ever felt like you're, you know, don't have the knowledge, even though you just started, to give, you know, a talk or to do the job that you do as a freelancer? Okay, you've got about 5 minutes to chat to the person next to you. Okay, cool. If I can have your attention. How was it chatting to the person next to you?
Great.
Yeah? Awesome. So now I want to talk about the same situation, so me giving my first ever talk, but switch the perspective. So here we go. Knowing that you're here to listen to me talk, obviously to also connect with other people and network and all that kind of stuff. I'm standing here in front of you, there's no place to hide. As we know, there is that fire escape over there, it doesn't look quite nice. But instead, I can allow myself to feel and focus on the excited feeling that I have and the gratitude that I have to be here, given the opportunity to, to say my knowledge, to say my experience, and if it helps one person, it helps one person. If it helps more, then that's amazing. It's something that has actually been a dream of mine ever since I was younger. I used to pretend to give talks to my teddy bears. I used to, those smelly gel pens that you used to use, the raspberry flavoured ones or the blueberry ones. Used to be there with that as a microphone. There is a microphone here actually, but you can hear me all right. Yeah. So I'm just really proud that I got to the point here with bravery and the confidence that I have to give this talk. And I think I just want to say if I can do it, obviously you can do it if there's something that you want to do. If there's something that you're putting off or that you're, coming up with excuses as to why you can't do something, slap your wrist, all right? Say, no, I can do it, I can do it. I can focus on being grateful that you've spent money, time and energy to be here. I'm grateful that, you are also, all of you, a part of this experience of me with my first talk. I can also, I can focus on that there's no place to hide, but that's a really beautiful thing, and that as humans, the best connections are often when we don't hide, and when we are our true selves, and when we allow ourselves to be authentic and to be real and to be honest with how we're feeling. That just makes so much more room for a deeper connection. And also it shows as well that you fully accept yourself as to where you're at currently. It's amazing to have big goals and everything like that, but it's also, to get there, we need to accept who we currently are in this present moment in time. And that includes, if you stumble on your words, it's not shaming yourself for stumbling on your words, it's not shaming yourself for forgetting to email back this person after 2 weeks of not replying to them and then chasing up 5 times, something that happened to me last week. It's all these things. I could think, I may or may not be booked again to give a talk somewhere. It may be actually a really bad talk. Maybe no one's inspired by this, but it's putting yourself out there, the opportunities out there for you to grab them. It's not embarrassing to mess up. It's not embarrassing to make mistakes. It's not embarrassing to not be perfect. It is embarrassing to not put yourself in situations where you can grow. It is only doing yourself a disservice if you're not allowing yourself to be uncomfortable, because it is in that space which is where we grow into the people that we can be. So, just because you're afraid maybe of rejection, or really you're just afraid of success, which is something that I figured out recently, and I was like, damn it, I've got to get into that one. Just because of those doesn't mean that they can be the things that stop you from becoming the most successful freelancer that you can be. So I've got another QR code for you. But this time, after scanning it, I want you to stand up and I want you to talk to someone that you've never spoken to before. And I want you to talk about how this new perspective has made you feel, but also how you've gotten in your own way recently. So take a minute to sit and think. Think about how you've gotten in your own way recently. What's something that you could do today, this week, this month, that will help you just that 1% more to get to your goal where you want to be?
So the answer 1%.
That manifests itself in something stick. Everything has to be manifest.
Alright, let's get people to start finishing up your conversation.
Think about the training.
If you haven't already, please fill in the poll. It's now active, it wasn't before, my bad. You can scan it here, can you just scan again? It's really cool to get it all in one place. And if anyone's feeling brave enough, does anyone want to share how you've gotten in your own way recently, or what you've just learned from the conversation you've had? Yeah?
I will.
Lack of self-belief and imposter syndrome, as you said earlier. A constant factor in no working or more together.
Yeah, hands up if you've experienced imposter syndrome or something similar. Look around, there's like so many of us. And hands up if you are still fighting through that, or if you see the reason to keep going through that. Does that make sense? Trying to flip it around. Does anyone else want to share anything? Yeah.
I'm a perfectionist, so I really struggle with things being good enough. But I think that they should be perfect, and it's I get quite stressed out if I can't be perfect. It's like that. I know I'll never do that. So it can cause more stress than really it should do, knowing that you're good enough to actually do what you're doing.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I feel like I've done that before as well, and like I still feel it sometimes, like the pressure. And I'm like, you know, if you look down at your shoulders, it is your hands. You're the only one that's putting the pressure on you. If there is pressure, you know, that's from outside of you, you are allowing yourself to feel that pressure, right? Did you have something to add as well?
I did. I have been asked by a couple of friends to try out the Steamrollers 5K, and I love the gym and I love fitness, but I'm really scared about running.
Okay.
Which means I should do it.
Yeah, I hate that.
So it's just like, I'm at that point where I'm like, I've got to do it.
Yeah. I had that realisation as well, where I've now challenged myself. So if there's something that I don't want to do, if I catch myself being scared to do something, I'm like, well, that's it. I've got to dare myself to do it now.
Yeah.
And it's just like a fun game, but also I'm like, cool. Any other last points? Or any other show? Yeah?
I read the question wrong. I thought it says, have you gotten your own way recently?
Yes.
I just thought I'd say, in a creative meeting, it shows the importance of reading the brief.
Cool, yeah, let's have a look at what we've got. So, lack of focus, lack of self-belief, being too comfortable, that's interesting, inability to take action. Yeah, procrastination. I feel like all of this is so interlinked to some extent. You know, like I often get it where I freeze, and it's because of I'm overthinking. I'm like, oh no, like all these things could go wrong. I read a quote recently, and it said, for every time you think something can't go right, you have to write 5 things as to why it will go right, as to why it can go right. And that's something I started literally 2 days ago, and even over the last 2 days, it's really helped me improve my confidence and also improve my self-belief in the things that I'm doing. So, as you can see, it truly is in your own perspective, right? So you have all these situations and we make it mean, and we put meaning onto things. You know, if we want to see that we're not good enough, if we want to see that we are not worthy of being fully freelance or having, you know, a £10,000 contract or, you know, having like 100 new customers, we will see the reasons as to why we're not worthy of that. And we have to be the ones to believe in ourselves first, in our skills, and to back ourselves in everything. You know, if I'm like rejected from an opportunity or a funding application, I'm thankful that I get to experience rejection and another failure onto my list, because success for me is failing a lot and still going. You know, you decide what is successful for you. You know, if I'm stuck in traffic or someone has cut the line, I'm thankful to have the opportunity to practice patience. Even though sometimes it can be quite hard. You know, if rejection is truly redirection. You know, what is meant for you will continue to be in your life and will continue to show up. You know, maybe you weren't meant to start that contract, or maybe if you had that new student, you would have had so much extra workload than actually what the value is of your product. Maybe the market that you got rejected from having a stall at wasn't actually for your right target audience. And it's having this change in perspective, instead of having these rejections and making it, oh, that's it, like there's no point, you know, there's no market for me to sell things at, there's no point for my product, there's no point for my service. If we change our perspective of it, it can really help us through our journeys as freelancers. So success is a path that's constantly under construction. And if we don't take the time to be truly present, then we'll miss out on feeling the gratitude when we hit those goals and checkpoints in our career. If we're constantly always aiming for the future, aiming for the goals, we kind of forget that we're living, you know, sometimes like our old dreams, our old goals. We are doing them right now. But yeah, I speak about all of this and, you know, my music career and my singing coaching services that I do over TikTok and on Instagram and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to do the shameless plug now. And this is where you can find me on Instagram. That's really light, really white, you can't read that. But yeah, it's Athena Aperta.co.uk, it's my website. I can even change it now quickly. But yeah, have you guys found this helpful? Yeah? Okay, cool. Yeah, if you want to follow my story, you can follow me on Instagram. Yeah, I'm a singing coach and I offer online singing coaching services and also confidence coaching services as well. Because I have gone through a whole journey in my confidence and my skills. So, yeah, thank you so much for your time.